To deal with the situation of this natural disaster, this ash situation here emanating from La Soufrière in St. Vincent. So we're cognizant of all that, but we have had to go through this literally, in many, many cases, penniless, because our former employer has not given us a cent of what is due to us in severance, notice pay, and vacation pay. So the history very quickly. We were laid off because of COVID-19 in April of last year, 2020. We were told that it was a temporary layoff to last to last 3 months to be precise, into June of 2020. Questions were raised with reference to our vacation pay, which is triggered as soon as there's a layoff. For the pilots in our contract, it triggers vacation pay, notice pay, and actually severance if you go by the letter of the collective agreement. Nothing was said with reference to that. The pleas were essentially ignored by the company, and we went through to June, but we immediately brought the concerns, obviously, of still having to meet day-to-day expenses, pay for school fees, put gas in the vehicles, pay light bills, etc. We immediately brought those concerns to the only place that we felt that we could, which was our government, the government of Barbados, which is where we live and reside. Many of us have been based in Antigua, but many of us also have not spent a day in Antigua flying. We've been here and living here. So June rolled around, and what did LIAT do? They extended the layoff period, and I don't mind reading my letter here, and that reads, as you know, the COVID-19 virus continues to negatively impact LIAT's operations. Most governments across our network still have closed borders and quarantine restrictions, which impact the demand for travel, and unfortunately our passenger service remains suspended with no firm date yet on which we will resume. We are still engaged in ad hoc charter and cargo activities. However, the revenue earned from these activities together with the limited ongoing demand for charters and cargo is insufficient to cover the company's costs. Furthermore, during this period, LIAT is largely dependent on receipt of funds from the major shareholders, which will be the governments of Barbados, Antigua, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, as well as Dominica. From the major shareholders to meet ongoing costs, including payroll. However, these funds have not been forthcoming as anticipated and has resulted in an ongoing delay in payment of salaries. And in terms of the payment of salaries, I'll just stick a pin there for a moment. What they're referring to there is the fact that our March salary that we had already worked for, they didn't even pay us the last part of what we were due. So it was promised in this letter, we haven't seen it up to now. In these circumstances, the company is not in a position to recall employees on June 30th, 2020. We therefore regret to advise that we must extend the period of temporary layoff previously communicated to you for a further period until September 13th, 2020. This is not an easy decision, as we are sensitive to the challenges arising from the temporary layoff and the ongoing uncertainty resulting from the COVID-19 pandemic. We remain hopeful that this extension will contribute to the survival of our airline and future job security of our employees. You will continue to receive your medical insurance coverage and staff travel privilege during this period. In the meantime, we continue to wish you all the best, etc.